Hello everyone, this is FAAMNG again. I hope you had a good weekend. I'll try to give you a quick recap about what happened to some of the indexes and some of the stock, just to give you some idea. That way, you can make the due diligence and see which one were good back. So when you look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we actually definitely we're starting about 100 points in a week. But it actually was running very solidly at the beginning of New Year. 2021 was an interesting year with short squeeze investors, AI buying Krypton, the rise of SPAC, heightened attention of China, increasing interest rate, and real estate double takes. 2021 saw staggering return in U.S. stock market with a third strict year of growth and double-digit gains. Market rose more than 25% on top of the 16% gain that steamrolled during 2020. U.S. benchmark contracts on the Dow Jones, S&P 500, Nasdaq, and Russell 2000 advanced on Monday, allowing European share to start the 2022 trading year. The market started with positive tone for Dow Jones Industrial Average, which record high until Tuesday afternoon. The index started to pull back and shift into opposite direction, particularly for Nasdaq, which you can see the Nasdaq one, while they're showing a month, just to give you a favor of what happened in a month. But overall, then if you compare to a month last month, definitely the index have gone down quite a bit. We're almost reaching a record high, and then you slip it in due to the asset potentially accelerate of the interest rate. So we'll get into that. So before I continue with the recap, just want to give you some stock that I actually talk about for those who listen to my video. And now I'm shifting a little gear and really recommending, even though you may hear people tell you to buy cyclical stock, but really difficult to identify which cyclical stock to buy. But instead, you're trying to probably look for a very strong fundamental resilient stock that will potentially, going to have another great year of reporting. So when I said that, I really referring to FAAMNG. So it's the Facebook, which now Metaverse, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Netflix, and Google, and also we'll put Tesla as well into this. I will also touch base on what's the current price of Pfizer and cruz that I recommended last year, CL. So if you can look at this, this is $331, which I've given you, and favorite that will happen to Facebook. So if you look, if when you were intraday high during the week, it was actually hitting 343, and now it's slipping back to 331. So it is still an opportunity to buy. If you look at the 52-week low is 244, 52-week highs at $384. And of course, Metaverse for 2022 this year probably will get some attention for those who are familiar with the goggles, which called virtual reality VR space. It wasn't really a new idea if you ask me, but somehow is if you believe in Mark Zuckerberg, which you look at Facebook, which took about 5+ years, similar to Tesla, to kind of have an idea, socializing it, and then push it to reality. Of course, the transformation between how actually, his vision versus reality, how the company make money, but I'm not going to get that detail, but you get a message really is, if you believe these people who have the mindset, and he's smart, he's a businessman, he has a way to transform things into profitable segments, may not be today, but maybe a few years from now, then definitely Facebook is still the way to go. I heard about some good thing about VR, which is properly applying to education area. So the stock in China that they actually were talking about geography, and if you wear the goggle, you can basically select any places anywhere you want, and then you can look at what's going on there, and you'll get more detail and depth on that. And also Zoom was going to actually doing some cooperation and with Facebook as well, to trying to take into current existing technology applications into the virtual reality life. So I don't know how well that's going to be placed out, but Zoom stock also have been really beating up from the record high of $500 to $150. I think currently at $170 lush. So something that you could be something that you can think about. If you believe this virtual reality future. Again, it's not new. When I was a kid, I know that we already have that, and of course, there's nothing to compare. But one of the biggest challenge about that is to wearing goggle and how long can you wear with that and how comfortable you are. So maybe eventually you don't need the goggle, right? Or the goggle is simplified in a way that you just wear glasses. It's just different. The next thought I want to touch base on is Apple. Apple actually from a record high on last Tuesday, 182.98, and which is hitting the 3 trillion mark, and came back down to 172.17, and the uptick actually around $160, $163 uptick to 282. So and that 20 close to $16 momentum, which is the percentage of return if you were to hold of Apple since last December. So just to give you an idea, right? And they are talking about Apple Car, and also Christmas time, you probably have a very strong Apple sales. So when the earnings come around, I pretty expect that this will be continued strong. Especially there were times there were really issue with Chinese sales, and I think you come back again, to ending the market share in China again. Despite this tension between U.S. government and Chinese government. So this one could be, I personally look at this one will hit $200 per share, but I can't tell you when. So, because what you look at Apple is that when they don't move, they really don't move for months. Then when they move, they'll uptick very quickly just because of some analysts upgrading the stock. I mean, you change it to now they have the best rating ever. So definitely it's a very solid company to consider and holding, and they also pay dividend. Our next one is 32.51 for the month, which is Amazon. Amazon actually on last Tuesday also hit a mark about 34.28. They were at highs of 3,500, and it actually took a very tip back of 32.50 at the end of the week. So it is, if you do a percentage of discount, right? I mean, it gives you about for the week is 3%, but from the intraday of the week, the high point compare probably at 5% there. So Amazon again is if you look at it, you actually you could. I don't think you've really gone down that much, but that's another stock to consider in the way they make money now. But just in the cloud business more than just the traditional model where you think you go online buy something then take a spread over that. The next one is Netflix. So Netflix actually is probably a very, very good discount stock. If you look at it last Friday, for a week it had down about 11%. So it was actually at the high end of previous the week before the Friday was at 620.61. On the late October, the stock actually ranged at $650. I mean, when the Squid Games came about, I mean, this stock really hit a big hit and increased the subscribers very quickly. And the stock at that time was reporting very poorly in June timeline, and it was just because of the Squid Game, it was spiking up. So if you believe, Netflix will be able to hit another good movies like that very hot and driving this movie space, then definitely right now you could put it in your monitor chat list. I would think if I want to buy that or want to buy it below $500, there were one point which is a few months ago they were actually at $475 less. So anytime between $475 to $500 for me is to buy. And that I always, for those who follow my video, know that I always won't buy as an existing price, but also discounted that. So if you have follow my approach and still lose money 20%, that means that stock is really bad because fundamentally you will have lost 40% of value at the point of time that I'm showing the video to buy. The next one is $314, which is not bad, which is Microsoft. Microsoft have been performing very well, but if you look at quarter before, I mean, it was actually wasn't doing what was really low at the point, but now They are performing a lot better. So they are hitting a mark of over $300. And at one point it was at $340. Now it's at $314. 52 weeks was 212. So it could be, with the Windows 11 and also cloud space. I mean, and the way how the teams work. So really that the integrated approach would actually bring Microsoft probably will be more profit in the future. So not to mention about the Xbox, but I don't play Xbox anymore. But that's also another revenue for them. So this stock would be considered. I would think if below $300, you could be considered buying it. So which is only less than $15 less is not much at all, right? Because $30 would be 10%, 5%. The next one is Google. I mean, Alphabet. Alphabet have been actually been a winner and have been driving pretty well. In November, it actually was at the price of $3,000 a share. In back to May, I mean, you were actually in March is $2,000 a share. So. And Tuesday it was actually at 29.32 last Tuesday, so that's why it's gone down 5.54%. So this stock really from if you look at 6 months ago and where you're at, I mean definitely already have discount quite a bit. I mean if the Fed tapering and interest rate increase will continue giving pressure of high tech stock, it may go down let's say another 5%, 10%, then you can probably put it in, but I'm not sure you will ever really hit down to 2,500. But just again reference point is last year March 2021 was at $2,000 a stock. So definitely from a trend perspective, you can see that the stock is actually going down right now. But percentage wise, it's about 6% for a week. And then next one, I really like to talk about this one. For those who follow me, which bought at $950 and $975, I hope you did sell it around $1,150 or $1,200, which is at the high end, because I won't hold Tesla for long term, at least for now, but I'll be kind of taking the gain loss here, when short term when you hit about 20%. So which I actually sold at $1,150 in this case. So the stock now you're coming back down about 10.27 again. So I would say if you're below 1,000, you probably can think about it. In mid-December, the price was dropping at 950, just to give a statistic. And Tesla in September, it was 750. When they first entered the the Nasdaq, they were at from 700 push all the way up to $900. Their latest year high is about 1250. So it just gives you very momentum, and I mean this stock is very highly volatile. But the reason why the uptick from 950, for two reasons. Number one, Elon Musk say he met the obligation for just 10% for the tax that need to be paid. Number two is you came up with the sales delivery in December, had a really good number. That driving back from 9, and also the volume kind of as the Santa Claus effect timeline, the volume a lot of times is lower than usual. So those three factors driving the stock back from 950 to 1,200, and then of course now you're gonna get a slip again. So this stock can go up and down a lot, but again, this is really good discount, 1057. I would say let it go below 1,000. Maybe same mark for those who bought 950 and make money at 1,200, you probably can buy back again at 950. And I will continue recommending this approach, until things were turning differently. Obviously, this stock can go down to 750 again, so just bear that in mind. The next one I want to give you an update about Pfizer. Pfizer stock has been doing very well since because of the announcement of the booster shot and get the FDA approval. The end of October price of $43. From there, you gone up to end of December $61. Now slipped back to $55.72, about 5% decline. And again, you have to compare this with biotech and Johnson Johnson and Moderna, and ask yourself, hey, would this stock, which a lot of people now switching probably do the booster shot of Pfizer, and also they will increase sales, international sales as well because of the boost. What happened with Omicron? So then the sales they kind of anticipated maybe already priced it in at the moment, but when they report earnings, they probably will be actually going to hit the number. So I am looking at this stock and I'm thinking, if you believe, Johnson Johnson Moderna can hit like 10 times, Moderna really gone up a lot, right? And this stock probably up 60% compared to earlier last year. You probably can go up a double, right? I mean, so you still have another 30-40% room to go on. Essentially, gone up over $100, right? So something to think about. But would this be a right price to buy? Maybe, I don't know, if it slipped a little bit to $50 and now 10%, then that would be about right to buy, because I bought it at $43, just FYI. The next one is Cruz. Just want to show you up the statistic about Cruz. For those who follow my advice and bought it, you should have make a pretty good money, and actually because it have gone up. So just to give you some idea, yes. After the Turkey Day, which is November 26th, when the market was really taking a hit a lot with all this travel stock and cruise stock, they were actually down to 1682 at one point, which is in the week of November, last week of November. But but very quickly enough, you turn things around and rebounding it as people realize Omicron has a very high transmittable rate, but the death is much more mild than Delta. So then the stock actually have hit pretty well in position 2190. At June timeline, if you look back at June last year, it was actually $29. And this stock again in pre-pandemic, if you go back and look at it, was $40. So I still believe that if you hold this one for a long term, when the economy reopening, they turn things around and they're making more profit, right? Because right now, a lot of times it's forward looking, and they actually, because of the cruise, was getting people having Omicron and so on. I mean, they were having more restriction and tight rules, and also they have often this kind of attract more people into the cruise, but kind of sunk cost anyway, because if you have 10 people on the ship with 100 people on the ship, it's still a ship that need to go out. So so the more people they order, the more benefit on the fixed cost perspective. So again, I think this stock will play very well. I mean, if Omicron was in control, there's a new one in France called IGU, but right now, closely monitoring, I haven't heard any news that this one will be the next Omicron, which is another variant. So I think CCL and CLH will be good, and also RCL get really beat up because of the downgraded by one of the analysts, bank, I think it's bank. So you can look at the Royal Caribbean stock as well, but I have been recommended CCL, and I think it's cheap enough to buy. Am I wrong? RCL is 3 times more expensive, like $80, $75. So, and then NCLH is about 23-ish, 23 to 25 range, which actually when it was high, while CCL was at $29 level, NCLH was at $32. They also have $3 differential about these two stocks, roughly. So so I think this one is still a very good opportunity there. Even if $22 may not be as cheap, but if you look at a long-term perspective, you definitely consider. And bowling, for those who bought bowling, which have got down to, for some bad information, get down to $207 or $211, depending on what point you bought at. I mean, right now it's have gone back up. So I still optimistic about bowling. I still think that a lot of companies gonna end up buying more flight, more plane, because just the need of the increase of capacity. So 3 index where we buy in having said that, going back to the index and just give the perspective, right? Again, Dow is only down 100 points if you compare the beginning of the week versus when it ended at. Last that was a little worse. It's getting beat up. And the market started with positive tone, and again, it started to pull back. And there are a couple of drivers: potential sell rate or interest rate increase, continuous concern of inflation, and surge of Treasury yield. Treasury yield at one point had gone back up to 1.6%. three index will rebound again in the morning, Friday, given the good employment data, but ended lower. If the Dow extend, so this is the technical piece that then you may want to pay more attention to. If the Dow extended rally up December's low into uncharted territory, upside target will be hard to project, but first resistance will be Wednesday high crossing 36,952.65. So you still have 700% to go up momentum wise. Second resistance point is not known at this point. I can't tell you. But first support point, in case if you're going down, will be the 50-day moving average of 35,817. If Nasdaq also extended the decline, and the low cross will be 15,492. So actually we'll be going back up about 600 points. For the target, and you will cross over the 10 moving average, then it will be 16,217. If you continue your short-term low already post, first resistance, the 10-day moving across is 16,217. 7th resistance, December high crossing will be 16,659. So there's still a possibility that if you think flip around, or the rumor saying the increasing rate wasn't true, and with some good news, with more cash on the side, with people getting bonus, whatever, it's coming to beginning of January, mid-January, or end of, or beginning of February, where people got bonuses from the company they work for, and hopefully get a merit increase as well. So that extra cash that people maybe decide to invest on, so that will pump the stock higher. S&P 500 also below 50-day moving average, crossing 64.83, which signal that a short-term top has been posted. First resistance will be Tuesday high on 48.08. First support is the 50-day moving average across 466.4. Second support will be 45.20, which hopefully, I hope the market actually will rebound the following week rather than going down, because as you know that, you open up the first day of the month is really good, but then things are not going as well. And you also probably can look at the market at the beginning of the year, and you can see that how it was behaving in 2021, just to get the idea. If you look at 5 years, you can see that you actually at the beginning, Dow was also up as well. I mean, it's up and down. And then you actually rebound back, and the February will have a dip after some earnings announcement came up. So I hope you will follow the similar pattern this time. Even the last week was lower. The only difference, bear in mind, was last year in 2021. At that time, you're not talking about Fed tapering on interest rate, interest rate change at that point. Versus now, market have been hitting record high, and because of inflation, you started driving, and potentially will already announced a decrease of the asset tapering, but maybe accelerating the rate of interest rate increase. So that story a little different than 2021. That could driving different behavior, but just to give you an idea that that actually is kind of 2021 the behavior, how it worked in Dow Jones Industrial Average, and Nasdaq also in March actually have been tipping back quite a bit as well. But in April, which is not the first earning of the end of year, but the second earnings, which is the first quarter of some company, depending on which one you're looking at, they will actually be really give very resilience and provide very good numbers. So April will actually driving a weakening a lot of losses that happened in February, March. So hopefully we'll continue seeing some gain in there that will have on that. Update on coronavirus. CDC predict more than 84,000 people in the U.S. could die of COVID-19 over next month. Okay, that's from CDC, not from me. Health experts say this forecast may not even fully account for the emergence of the Omicron variant and the spike in cases linked to holiday travel. So you can see my throat has been some problem too. So I hope I didn't get the coronavirus, Omicron. I don't know, because Omicron's, again, you transmit a lot more, and I know up to this point, I know 13 people that I know have Omicron, and one person say he had no symptom. The other one say he just have a little bit sour throat. So I could have got it too. Who knows? Next week there will be mark the kickoff on another round of earning report with many of the big banks reporting late in the week. So maybe next week, bank will be reporting earning with the interest rate potential increase. That's driving more momentum going up for financial sector, and then that will bring the other sector forward, also bring it up. Hope you liked my video. Have a nice and wonderful weekend, and hope everything will be better for this 2022, and life will back to normal, and we'll win against the pandemic and the coronavirus. Thank you.